What? What's up with this? Why would it be locked like this? What are you doing? Huh. Alright, well, we're gonna go with it like this. Alright, shalom, Israel. Uh, getting back on, haven't had a chance to go live in a while, but we got a 3 hour, well, couple hours now, trek down the road, and so thought it'd be good to get on. Bless you well, see all my family out there popping in. Uh, but just want to drop a little information with you all. Just things that I'm really learning and starting to see here, and I'm getting a true understanding as to what it is going to take to be at another level of set apart. And when I say that, this is both both spiritually and physically, okay? And because they are intertwined, so I'm gonna let a few more people jump in, and then I'm gonna share some information with you all. So go ahead and share it out. All right, make sure the family get a chance to get their hands on this, because I'm going to cross-reference bondage, adhesion contracts, and our desire to be a set-apart people, with one another, so that we can really start to look at what's happening, especially when it pertains to receiving the deception and the harm, or being dismissed just in an improper manner uh, in employment. A lot of people are losing their place of employment, and they don't know what to do. And what I'm finding, number one, I made a decision a long time ago to pursue entrepreneurship and really make my own way, because there was just things I found when it came to giving power to just employers, giving power to just the factions of government, state, local, federal, that I didn't see the ends to the means. I didn't see just how all of that worked together and how it benefited me, And so back when I first started to work for myself, I started to understand that, okay, you're doing this, being a employee, starting a career, but then in starting a career, you find that, first of all, when it come down to your paycheck, it was a lot of hands getting in on that paycheck. There was a lot of deductions. so-called going on. But then again, where does it all go? Does it go to you having a better life, or does it go to really building an inheritance for your children's children? And you find none of that. Hell no. No, it don't go to that. Matter of fact, it's been spent building a agenda that excludes you. All right? So this is what I'm saying. You should have shared this out with some family members. You should have shared it out on Facebook. You should have made sure this information went forward. And, because what I'm thinking, because I found somebody that is doing something that I'm going to start incorporating in my live videos. Number one, when you catch it live, that's when you're going to get it. Because afterwards, when I'm looking to see if I could download or immediately save this in my own archives, in my files, then I post it on a one of my private platforms if you want to go back and hear it and listen to it. All right? So I really haven't got into the fullness of the information yet, but I wanted to start out with that because, see, people don't really realize, and that's where you start to find out where those people are asleep, or you got those that are truly becoming conscious of what's going on. And I'm not going to say at all that I'm surprised at the number of people that have not yet figured out the mass deception that is going on. I mean, I'm not surprised because I was one long ago that had been aware that some form of dumbing down was taking place. All right? And so these things that I'm saying, if you freaking hear me talking, then you need to really take heed to what I just said. Were you one of the ones? Give me some damn feedback. Were you one of the ones aware that some form of dumbing down had been occurring? Because see, even in my coaching, got you, Josh, definitely got you. My man Josh stays on it, man. He stays on it. And I'm gonna promote it now, and then I'm gonna promote it later, because one of the platforms that I'm gonna have a lot of these videos that I hope we are still connected, going through some different areas. Is to let me know if the video is clear or not, so I can continue to rock and roll, and if the sound is still good. All right, give me a 10 and a 10. All right, for sound, and give me a 20 and a 20 video. 20 out of 20 for video, 10 out of 10 for sound. All right, hallelujah. Somebody said it's back. Praise God. We want to get on this, because here's what's happening. A lot of times we preach to the Israelites, and we know what that is. If people don't know what it is because you don't read the Bible and you've been deceived for so long that it's almost useless trying to explain it to you, because you immediately come with so much indoctrination that you can't do nothing but just look people upside their head and walk away from the conversation. All right. So today, I just want to drop a nugget, and one of the places that I'm knowing I'm probably going to go change the status of this video after the live, so that we can download it, so they don't mess with my channel. All right. But people, have been doing live feeds, and they're starting to, once the video is over with, they're downloading the video to their own personal archive, and then they're uploading it private for those who are in their circle. All right. And one of the things I'm going to be doing also, I have a private Israelite network on Telegram, but I'm gonna have another one, and I use that for communicating some different things that need to be communicated in fast time, real time, and you can upload video files, and it's a good deal. I've been using it privately for a while, and so some of you all, I'm going to get that information out in the Israelite community, so that you can start coming on board, because we got things we're going to be doing Zoom wise, and I'm sharing the information with the people that need to know, because I can't mess with you folks who number one, your number one deal is pulling out the doctrine sword, and you want to continue fighting with the doctrine sword. So that's a freaking waste of time. Then you don't believe because you don't know them by their fruit. So then I got to fight with you that don't know me by the fruit of the Most High Yah, when even the Hamashiach said, if you're not going to believe what I say, then believe the works that I do. So it's a lot of those that already know the works that I do. I don't have to go through. All right, we passed through this area, so that's why I'm making sure that I can drop it before. I can get, because I should be in a good area. All right, and I believe it's back. All right, see buffering, frozen. All right, is it back yet? All right, we got 10s and 20s. All right, so let's go ahead and try to rock with this and get this in, so I can get out of the way. You can get back to prepping for all those who know what prep day is, those who are serving the Most High Yah in these days and in this time and hour that we're in. Everybody ain't serving Yah, so you can forget that, because you show up with that big, nice Mother Jones of AME First Baptist Pentecostal Presbyterian Church, don't mean you serving Yah. I promise you, you're not. We can. I am ready any day that you're ready. All right. Make sure your uncle and your aunt got this video. All right. Make sure somebody that think they are scholarly in biblical doctrine get this, because here's what I'm going to say. If your eyes are not open to the deception, then you're not as scholarly as you think. You're not as in tune to the spirit of truth as you think, because you should be warning the sheep. You should be crying aloud and sparing not to those who are around you, so that they don't miss. Because there's a lot of people around me that's missing right now. You don't understand how you got to protect your body, you have to protect your mind, and you have to protect your spiritual well-being. You are the guardian of that. You should be protecting that. You, all right? Sitting in the pew don't protect it. That's where you should be getting knowledge and understanding from those who Yah have called to feed you with knowledge and understanding. But you're not getting that. That's why people are doing some dumb things in this day. They're making some damn decisions. All right? So what we're talking about is another level of set apart. That's what I told you at the beginning I wanted to do, and I'm gonna drop that as quick as I can, because I'm in the process of truly understanding some things when it comes to adhesion, dealing with the government. And what you're finding is, all right, from a physical standpoint, you need to be ready. Brother Vance, forgive me. All right, I'm up here. Brother, you ain't got to worry about it, because I went through this light. I'm up here. All right, I'm going to sit right at this. All right, we traveling. So, but anyway, all right, it's good. I get a quick stop. All right, while I'm waiting on him. But anyway, what I'm finding is we are being able to be positioned in such a way that the Most High Yah is giving us operating power. All right. Now, some of y'all don't understand what I'm saying, but you will. But I want you to take note to what I'm saying. Okay? We are being given operating power. All right? In such a way that when I look at, people who say they have churches and they are pastors, I just look at the process that I've been going through here as of late, positioning myself to where, as you see mandates come down, like the government wanting to position themselves to be able to look at every damn transaction you make. And they, one, in overstepping their role, because remember, the government should be serving the people. But when they start positioning themselves, and you already know how corrupt it is just from many things, from just people being wrongfully in prison, just seeing people have uh, drugs being planted on them. When you see routine traffic stops turn into death. I mean, now you want to manage every transaction I make. See the freedom, but see, what we didn't realize that there was a time in Mitzrayim or in Egypt, for those of you all that don't read the book that deep. It came a time where the people had sold themselves, and therefore their total person was in bondage. And that means that you have no more right. That means you willfully, and willingly came and gave over the rights to yourself. Well, what's happening in this day already on paper? See, on paper, and now in your biological stance, that is happening again. Okay, at a standpoint. And so what's happening is, when you're in the know and you are not among the dumbed down population, and you just use the wisdom that Yah has given you, then you start to understand that there is a way that you can stand on your right to be a son and a daughter of the Most High Yah, and not have that overran by anything. And if it comes down to death, then you have done well. All right? Because you did not willfully give yourself over to this beast system. And so a lot of it is in the form of paperwork. All right? Excuse me. A lot of it is in the form of paperwork, where you don't have the full authority to operate as a son and a daughter of the Most High God. That's what it comes down to. And so these are some of the things that should be received in full in the church, and that alone would empower the children of the Most High God. That alone would create an army of believers who are not going to be deceived. And so therefore we know that then, since it ain't happening, then that can't be the elect, because they are already deceived, and the elect is not deceived. Okay, so in this thing called an adhesion contract, all right, y'all listen to me. What I'm learning is it's gonna take a spiritual strength in no longer being adhesed or being bonded or bound. Listen to those words I use. To a faction that allows the rule of man to take more authority than the rule of the Most High Yah in your life. I'll say that again. That adhesion allows these demonic and evil factions to have more authority over you in your life than the Most High Yah's authority to be in effect in your life. Now you got to ask yourself. I'm going to ask you out there. Is that what you want? All right? Give me a yes or give me a no. All right? Give me a yes or give me a no, because otherwise we don't need to go far any further in this conversation. All right? So, in that, what you find, just like when it comes down to hallelujah, when it comes down to you having the authority to continue to have peaceful gatherings, serving the Most High Yah, you saw in the shutdown, they had the authority to do so. You know, they was really testing out people's will and they might, because in the Constitution, which should be the law of the land, there's no power for government to overrule that ever. But for some reason, they have the authority to do it. Okay, so that's an example of being ruling over the authority of Yah in your life. But because you don't know and your pastor don't know, because you and him and everybody in the pew are in the same bondage or the same adhesion, then behind the scenes, that authority is able to take effect with or without you. All right? And you don't have to give consent. You've already given consent. And so that's why a lot of these things take place. So when you go and release yourself from some of these adhesions, you really start to see that there is an attempt to regain your consent to be in agreement or to reestablish authority in your life. That's what you start to see. And I'm gonna say this because I wanted to get your mind thinking in that, but I'm gonna give you an example. Going through this process of being no longer in adhesion with these folks, this is what I start to see. You see that there is a training without the people, because they're dumbed down. They're doing what they're told, so they give you these answers that activate the fear that's deep in you. See, the fear, the fear that's deep in you is that you run the risk of being in prison. You run the risk of losing your benefits, of being a citizen. You run the risk of not being able to have this illusion of freedom that you think you have. And so therefore, when you go to get free, they begin to loose these terms and they speak these words over your life, and immediately you become fearful, and then you back down and you back out. But what I'm learning is there's something in the book that says when you've done all that you could do to just stand. And then what happens in this process, you start to see that the wisdom that the Most High is bringing in you, freeing yourself, starts to take effect. And it takes effect because you're standing on what you know that either the person that's projecting the fear of you don't know, but you know the process, is already victorious because you're learning how the victory is given. Because Yah in this process is starting to educate us as leaders and those who are desiring to know Yah. What is it that we need to do to be free from the hand of the enemy? And don't you know Yah is giving that type of wisdom to know what it is to be free from the hand of the enemy, to break the yoke, because that's what it is. So if Yah is breaking yokes, and that's a promise that He's breaking yokes, then that's what we got to go forth in having these yokes broken off our necks. All right, that's what it is when you come from out of these different adhesions. All right, and so in that, this is what I'm gonna end this video with. All right, is that you have to be prepared to be educated, but you got to be free from all the rigmarole and all the contrariness of people. And this is why these are small numbers. This is why, I'm really glad that I'm paying attention to what's going on in the Hebrew Israelite communities. I'm seeing what's going on in just those who are contrary. And what you find is you get more accomplished with less, and you become more joyful in sharing and showing and demonstrating how Yah is really positioning His people to be able to move freely, even though more are becoming strongly and more bonded to what's happening. See, when your biological self and your spiritual self are no longer free, then there's no more ownership and there's no more need for you to desire to be made free by the master. There's no longer, because you've given it up. And that's something that is not understood. Now, there's a lot of things that I said that's going to go over heads because you don't even understand what's being said, because your world and your day consists of 9 to 5, having a beer or a strong drink after you get off work, spending too much time in video game world, and there is no afterthought after you get off work, because Master has tired your ass out so much that you don't have the strength or the desire to push on to what we know is pivotal in preserving self right now. So this video wasn't for you. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there and tell you that this wasn't for you, and then do not even inquire on any of the information, because it's not gonna do you any good. And I'm gonna tell you that, because the Bible already spoke to you. It said a little sleep and a little slumber and a little folding of the hand, and poverty is gonna come on you, like a thief. I mean, and that's the truth. So, bless y'all that's out there seeking. I'm gonna continue dropping nuggets. I'm gonna see what I can do to get this, get that link over to you all, so you all can get a lot more information pertaining to this. Because obviously they are tearing up the free, the freedom of press and the freedom of speech. That's all torn up. That ain't you can forget. It ain't happening no more. These folks are just, it's demonic. All right. And so there's another video I did earlier that it wasn't live. I'm gonna be posting it up at some point because again, I'm referring to, the high satanic demonic things that are taking place, that you can see what rule is established. You can see what evil is set up. And so we don't have to worry about, those things. Our job is just to do all that we can to serve the Most High Yah and to get free of every physical and spiritual bondage that we have no spots and blemishes on our garment, but we are prepared, and we don't, and we demonstrate that we're not in agreement with these enemies any longer. So bless y'all well, and y'all have a blessed prep day, Israel. Those of y'all that's Christian and that's part believers and part partiers, uh, there is no salvation in that. And I love y'all, family. I promise I do. Pastor Corey and the Saints in Kansas City, we are here. We're well, it's joyful, and the load is steadily being lightened. And man, I can't thank the Most High Yah enough that, man, He has called us in an hour such as this to be those who are going to go through the fire and those who are going to live set apart in and among the heathen as it come in.